Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mizi Wahid here. Hello and welcome to our Instagram live. It's been quite some time since we were last here doing a live session. And tonight we have a very special topic that we want to talk about regarding parents and their love for their children. Okay? So I know this is a topic that is very close to many of your hearts. Many of our Safinah followers that I'm aware of are young parents. Your children are probably, still under the age of 12. Some of you are new parents as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. And I really hope that tonight's session will be something that is going to be beneficial for all of you, inshallah. Tonight, as this session goes on, I would really love it if you could type in some questions, right? If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, please type in the comments box, or you could also click on the question mark button that you see at the bottom of the page, where you can type a question and then I will try to respond to your questions, inshallah, with my special guest. And today I would like to introduce you to my special guest, and his name is Mr. Hashim Bafadal, and he is the founder of Ascent Islamic. It is one of the top Islamic-based financial advisory firms in Singapore. Okay? And so the reason why I have him here is so that we can have a bit more of a balanced conversation. I don't want us to just talk about parenting and our children's future, just focus on their faith, their religion, their practices. I also want them to be able to, I also want all of you to be able to realize the importance of knowing that there are other areas as well that you need to be aware of, that you need to prepare for your children so that you'll be happy, you'll be more at peace in your life, inshallah. Make sense? All right. So I would like to now invite my brother here, Mr. Hashim Afadal. Assalamu alaikum, Hashim. How are you?
Alaikum salam. Thank you, Ustaz, for having me.
Yes. Okay. So it's his one of his maiden IG live appearances.
Yes,
welcome him. Yes. So Hashim, our topic is about a parent's love, saving, investing, and protecting our children for their future. And in this regard, I believe that a lot of parents, they have many different, concerns when it comes to what it is should be their main priority when it comes to their children's future. So some people, when I posted about this the other day, they said, well, they are concerned about their faith.
Yeah.
They're concerned about their children's iman. They're concerned about their practices and things like that, which I believe is a very fair thing to be concerned about. However, here's my take on it, because I've also dealt with many parents, those who attend my classes, those who attend my programs, and this is what they say. They say that, I'm concerned that my children will not be praying when they grow up. I'm concerned that they will not be practicing Muslims when they grow up. But here's another angle that I just want to share, and I want you to confirm whether you are getting the same kind of cases and stories as well. What I've noticed is that a lot of these children, they come from very dysfunctional backgrounds. They come from families where, unfortunately, and this is not to demean or anything, but unfortunately they come from broken homes. They come from living in rented apartments and rented HDB apartments. And when their finances are a bit all over the place, when their parents are not able to provide the best for them, these children start to lose their own self-esteem, their own self-belief. They don't think that they can be on par with some of their friends who are better off. They feel like they belong to another group, where this group of kids are going to do all the naughty things that all the kids that used to do. Were you one of the naughty kids, or never mind?
No, I don't
some other day. So, do you think that's common? Like, because the parents didn't really provide for them well, or didn't have proper savings for them, this is one of the reasons why they went astray. And then instead of getting closer to God, they actually went further away from God. What's your take on this?
Okay. So I believe having stable finances, or having a proper proper control over a family's financial, right? It gives you a proper foundation as a family unit to, of course, take care of your children, take care of yourself, take care of your parents if they're still around. So yes, I do agree with what you're saying, and I mean I've seen, yes, I've met some families in fact whom really prove that what you say is true.
Yeah.
They struggle with just basic finances, meaning perhaps they don't even know how to manage their cash flow.
Yeah.
Money in is a lot less than money out every month, for example. So allocating funds or allocating money to the right channels, in this case for their kids' education or just normal expenses, they struggle for it. So as you mentioned, so the kids themselves have this inferiority complex as compared to maybe their friends in school.
Yeah.
And then they come off worse for it lah. Yeah. So yes.
So that's very unfortunate, isn't it? Because every parent wants the best for their children. Every parent wants the best future for their children. But unfortunately, because they have instability in their finances, everything else gets affected.
Correct,
to be fair.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So another thing I want to share is that I'm a father of 4 kids. All of my kids are less than 10 years old. So they're all still very young, mashallah. And you have one, right?
I have one.
And one more on the way, mashallah.
Yes.
So as fathers, we have our own concerns.
Of course.
As the one who is looked upon as the main person to provide for the family, even though my wife is working. Is your wife working?
She works with me.
She works with you. Okay, cool. So technically she does work. So,
yes, she does.
But we feel like, we are responsible. And being the responsible so-called one, but as in the responsibilities on our shoulders, children is part of one of the top priorities in our lives. I want to share with everyone here as well as our brother here, Hashim, is that for me, I have 4 kids. The second and the third one are boys. And my boys have given me and my wife many trips and staycations at the hospital, actually. Many times, countless times. And, this has, of course, caused us to really rethink some of our priorities. It has gotten us to wonder whether or not everything is set in order. Because nobody has children, and some of you here are listening, you just had children perhaps, congratulations, but I'm pretty sure as a parent, you never expect your child to get sick.
Course, yeah.
Nobody has children and say, one day nanti anak aku sakit, nanti aku akan, nobody does that. It's so ridiculous.
Correct.
But that's also where we learn. That's where we learn our lessons, because I think maybe the first child, 10 visits to the hospital, the second one even more, 12 visits to the hospital, and they stay there, warded, And of course, these are costs. These are added costs.
For sure, yeah.
And this causes us to worry about the child's well-being. At the same time, we also worry what else is going to happen next. How much more money are we going to have to fork out? So when you look at all of these factors, it causes you, even as father and mother, even as husband and wife, your relationship could even be affected.
Surely, yeah.
And I get these questions all the time where, husband and wife, they can't get along, blah, blah, blah. But these are additional factors that we could do without, to be honest. So as a father yourself, what is the main thing that you think other parents should be concerned about, should try to research and learn more about, so that they can be better protected?
For their kids, you mean?
Yes,
yeah, for
their
their
children.
Kids. Something that I would think parents should really look into early on, even as soon as 3 months after having a child, is to look into getting their child hospitalization policy.
Yeah.
Which I think that's what you got for yourself, right? After
I learned the hard way. Yeah.
Correct. So it really gives you this peace of mind. Meaning, if say your child is hospitalized for whatever reason, and trust me, children usually kalau sakit high fever je, they probably you go to KK and they usually get hospitalized just for observation.
For my kids, they had seizure.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so memang they had to go.
Correct.
They had to stay.
So basic hospitalization policy will cover your child's hospitalization bill, of course, and it depends on what tier you get. You might even get like an A ward, meaning it's just your child and yourself. Meaning you can stay in with no problems. There won't be other kids crying in the middle of the night. Your child can get proper rest or try to get proper rest. So what you can focus on, and most importantly, is your child getting better. Like, focus on getting her
True.
better.
I think that should be the main focus,
Correct.
right? We want our child to get better.
Yeah.
We don't want them to be affected by our worry.
Correct.
Because children, they pick up on the energy, you know. Like,
Yes.
why is
Of
my
course,
parent
of course.
always angry? Because sometimes when we are concerned about our finances, we start arguing, husband and wife. That can happen.
Yes.
Right? Because you're not providing enough. Look at this. You can't pay these bills. You can't do that. And it's just added stress. And the child picks it up.
Yes.
And they can't get any better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Surely.
true. Have you had any cases before that you've dealt with where, the parents were saved by a really good protection plan?
Okay, yeah. So there are a few that I can think of. Fortunately, none were major hospitalization due to anything major, alhamdulillah. But what happened most of the time is high fever, like I mentioned. That happens quite often with kids, right? So in fact, one of them, of course, when that happened, they contacted me first and foremost. So what I'll do is I'll tell them, okay, all your policies are in place, you can proceed to private hospital. Because, of course, without going to detail, the differences between private and government, we all know more or less, right? So once you go private, immediately the son, in this case, it was his son, my client's son, got the attention immediately, then he got warded. And then, of course, it was really high fever, and he was warded for over 2 days for observation because there was some worry about I think stomach flu or something, I can't remember. And he was only 7 months. 7 months old. So of course, private hospital, the bill was 7,000 to 8,000.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, of course, everything was covered.
Yeah.
So what the parents could focus
7
on.
to 8,000 is quite a lot. I mean, you can do a lot. If imagine at the end of the year you had an extra $8,000 in your account, you could do a lot of things. You can go on a holiday and things like that. So it's really a good story about how you can potentially save money and really get the best treatment as well.
Yes, that's most important.
That's another factor.
Yeah, that's most important.
So guys, I'm here with the founder of Ascent Islamic, Mr. Hashim, and we are discussing today about a parent's love, investing, saving, and protecting for your children's future. We have spoken about wanting the best for your children's faith, your children's well-being, your children's finances, as in saving for them. But we would also love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can type your questions in the comment box, or you can also type in the question mark button below. Right? I think we are already seeing some questions which I will click on in a short while. But I just want to share or ask you one more thing. Why is it, do you think, a lot of parents, when they have a child, this is probably the last thing on their mind? Why do you think that is so?
Why? Okay, I think perhaps it stems from the fact that, okay, maybe it's not just for their child. Due to perhaps some previous experience that they had with either financial planning or insurance, there's this taboo with regards to planning, not just for their child but for themselves. So there's this concept that we usually share to our young parents or parents, like between themselves and their child, who is actually more important for you to insure or protect?
Good question. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, okay. So actually the answer is the parent themselves. You see, because if say something happens to the child, and the parent is still healthy, the parent can take care of the child. But if something happens to the parent in this case, the parent themselves needs to recover, they are sick, then their child will suffer because of that also. So there's this concept of holistic planning, both for as a family unit, of course including the child as well as the parents.
That's very true.
So that's one of the things that we try to advocate with our clients.
My sensing, thank you for sharing that. My sensing is that a lot of parents maybe lack the awareness as well.
Yeah, of course.
They lack the awareness. I think that's why I think we're doing this. We're partnering with people like him and his team, because we feel like a lot of people are still clueless about all of these plans. To be honest, like in my case, only after my kids had multiple visits to the hospital, then I started looking. And I think this is the case for many people. Unless and until something bad happens, baru jurang cari lah.
Usually that's the case, right, for most things.
But I think the whole point of insurance and protection is really about starting early and doing it before anything happens. Right?
Yeah.
Another area I want to ask you about is this. Okay, when we look at our children, we think about their future. We want them to have the best education, go to the best universities, you also have something with regards to investing.
Yeah.
You have some interesting investing plans. You want to share a little bit about how even a parent can invest even under their name, but with the intention to give to their children. How do you do that?
Yeah, okay. So, you see, one of the things this is even for my own belief. I wouldn't. Okay, like you mentioned, I'm a parent myself. I wouldn't want to be in a position where, inshallah, in the future, if my son can go to a prestigious university, and the only thing stopping him are finances.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine like my son. Oh, Abi, I want to go here. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's heartbreaking.
I tak ada duit. You kena cari yourself or things like that. So, you see, what we have, financial planning in its essence is about having, having options when you hit this point in your life. So, you can do investment, and it can be a Sharia compliant investment. For example, let's say once my son was born, I got for him a policy where it's an investment, but specifically for his education.
Oh, you can do that?
Yeah, specifically for
That's
education.
cool.
So the thing about investment is this: you shouldn't just invest for the sake of investing. You need to know why you're investing, because that drives the time horizon of your investment.
That's a good point.
So say if I'm investing for retirement.
How old is your son right now? Oh,
One and a half, yeah.
So
it's only 1.5.
If you're investing for the education, it can stay on for 20 years at least?
Yeah. So I mean, Singaporean, NS, after NS, probably go...
Even more, 25.
25. Yeah. I mean,
around 25
he will
years.
usually, a boy usually graduates at the age of 25 in Singapore.
Yeah, so about 20.
20 years. So, so inshallah in 20 years, it might not be much, it might not be enough, but at least there's something to help with the expenses then. The whole idea is to have a contingency.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, I'm going to start looking at questions. If we have enough to pay for one kid insurance. Okay, this is one from Aini. If we have enough to pay for one kid insurance or kid savings, which one would you recommend?
Wow.
Okay, one thing I know, when my kids were born, I opened up a savings account for all of them.
Okay.
So I think savings part I think this is what she's asking.
Okay.
Between savings and insurance, which one should I do? And whatever your answer is, why?
Why, right? Yeah, okay. See, the thing is, right, okay, it's actually a hard question. In my opinion, neither is more important than the other.
Okay.
If possible, you should really do both simultaneously. But if you force